Welcome back. This is our third class in our Hatha Yoga and Fitness Pranayama course. I'm Suzanne Trupin. I'm a board certified obstetrician gynecologist. I'm an RYT 500. I've been teaching for 5 years here at Hatha Yoga and Fitness. I'm in our beautiful canyon room. Today I have a blanket with me. I have a block. Any blanket would do. It's nice to have a cushion to sit on if you'd feel comfortable, but your blanket could double as your cushion. So our class 1 was just about lengthening and feeling that sensation of breath in your body. Class 2, we went over shaping your breath. And if you haven't done class 1 and 2, please refer to them before going through this material. I think it'll make more sense and work better for you. I feel that Pranayama Breathwork has so many health benefits, whether you have a regular yoga practice, regular mindfulness practice, regular meditative practice. Specifically, yoga pranayama breathing can enhance both your wellness mentally as well as physically. There's been many scientific studies on it, and I review a little bit of that in the prologue material if you get a chance to listen to that. So, just to begin with, you can get seated on your block or on your mat, or you can even, like I said, you can sit comfortably on your blanket as well. So I'm going to just take a chance to sit on my block. So we have worked on various aspects of fogging the mirror breathing. We will be working on that a little bit again today. Fogging the mirror breath has a whispering quality. As we discuss that whispering quality on the exhale, we're going to learn to incorporate it in the inhales as well. In general, we're all familiar with the concept of a sigh. So that turning that sigh into that fogging the mirror breath is very intuitive. But we're not as familiar with going in the other direction. When we breathe through our mouth, that sigh, we really know how to make that fog the mirror. When we close our lips on the exhale, it isn't, again, quite as intuitive, but it's really all that fogging sound and that swirling of the breath within your mouth is what's going on in your throat. Doesn't really have to do with your lips. So today we're going to practice. We introduced a tiny bit of closed mouth inhales and exhales in class 2. I know a number of you that are joining us have had some experience with this, but today we're going to introduce learning that fogging of the breath when you close your mouth. Okay, so we have several reasons why we breathe in and out through our nose as we practice. The main one is it's a much healthier way to breathe, but also we do feel that it's easier to control that length of breathing, those refinements, some of those breathing patterns that we're going to get back to with shaping our breath if in fact we're breathing in and out from our nose. So if you've ever felt stressed, we know that those long exhales can just be so grounding, can slow that heartbeat, that anxious feeling, that tenseness in your chest. So too, using that regularly in your breath work overall goes towards a more calming, grounding existence. And that's what we are hoping that you go for. So if comfortable breathing in and out of your mouth instead of breathing in and out of your nose? Absolutely. This is your practice. It's for your learning, and these different suggestions are for your education. And as you work with them more, you'll become more familiar and more comfortable, I think, breathing in and out of your nose. Breathwork's very safe, but it should be smooth and comfortable. Do not stress. If you are struggling with your breath, come out of whatever we're doing. Join back when you're ready. If you have health indications that question whether or not you should be doing some of these practices, check with your primary care provider. Okay, let's start once again where we are working with that shaped breath, and just take a few moments to settle in. Perhaps close your eyes, elongate your back, sit with your hands on your knees. I do like to get my wiggles out, dropping my chin, dropping one ear to one shoulder, one ear to the other shoulder, perhaps walking one set of fingers out a bit, reaching one arm up and over, touching my fingertips down on the other side, up and over, maybe even taking a very gentle twist to one side, then the other, and we'll all meet back with our hands on our knees. And let's go back to shaping that breath. Just take an inhale, hold it at the top, exhale, hold your breath at the bottom. Just one more round. Inhaling, pausing at the top, exhaling, pausing at the bottom. And although sometimes my cues use the word hold, it's really more of a completeness, a spacing, a pause, adding a rhythmic feeling to it, and not necessarily like breath holding, like diving to the bottom of a pool. Okay, now we're going to work on what we call segmenting our breath. This is one of the more fundamental techniques in yoga. So when we first breathe in, we don't generally breathe in as deeply as we can. We're sitting around, we're not stressed, we don't necessarily need a full set of lungs to continue sitting and doing our computer work or our telephoning. So when we take those extra sips of air, we fill our lungs additionally. As we talked in the last class, we talked about bringing air all the way into our abdomen, filling the lungs, filling our back body. And those are the places, abdomen, chest, back, that you should have the most sensation. Let's work on extending those inhales though. Extending those exhales. So take a brief inhale, exhale, pause, exhale a little more, pause, and exhale a little bit more, pause. That's what we call segmenting our breath. I hope that becomes a little more clear. And we're going to work with that a little bit more in just a moment. But right now, I'm going to teach you a little technique we use when laying on our back, and we create a little extra cushion bolsters, and we use them quite a bit in class, but they're fairly bulky to lay on. You can lay on them. I do it all the time in classes, but if you have any blanket at your disposal, fold it perhaps in half. If it's a rectangle, fold it in half, and now you have this long folded side. And then we're going to use accordions, folds, to create our own little bolster. This bolster is going to be bigger than your narrow spine, but it's going to be more narrow than your back. So it's going to form a little place for us to be more comfortable, but be a little more arched in our spine. So I'll show you how that works. So just pick your blanket up and do an accordion fold. So this is how it looks to start with. And then pick it up, another fold, and then our last accordion fold. And if you've got a little hanging here or there, don't worry. And then line it up on your space if you have a mat, in the middle of your mat. And we're gonna lay down on this. And I'm gonna bring this over to the end of my mat, and my hips are gonna be at the base. As you see, this is way longer than my spine. So I'm gonna just fold this up as a little bit of pillow. So we nicknamed this our Pranayama bolster. My teacher, Jason Grindle, taught me how to fold it. I think he'd be pretty proud of this setup. And I'm bringing my hips down and I'm laying back on this bolster so that my hips are on the mat, my low back is supported by the elevation of this blanket, now nicknamed Pranayama bolster, and I then pull up whatever extra I have so that I can have a fairly comfortable pillow to lie on. I'm just gonna go ahead and adjust so that I stay in the frame and can see myself as I talk to you. And we go back to working with the fogging the mouth breath. Now, I called it that for the whole second class, and we're just going to always use that technique. I won't always be cueing fog the mouth. So unless, fog the mirror terminology, unless I say otherwise, use that as part of your exhales, whatever technique we're working on. And a few I'll tell you that we can let that go. So let's just start with our equal breathing, our samavriti, our breathing in and out at the same pace. We're not going to pause, we're not going to shape the breath, but we're going to breathe in and out, and we're going to make those inhales and exhales approximately equivalent. To be comfortable, your knees can be closer than your feet, which can be wider, and hopefully being on this pranayama blanket will help you. If you want to place your hands back on your ribs, as we did in class number 2, to be helpful, that is fine. So let's begin these 3 rounds just to begin a little additional breath work today. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Let that go. How did that work? Did you remember to put a little bit of pressure on your ribs during the inhale? I'm going to sit back up at this time, and as we go through, be refining that technique. We'll be elongating more of our practice breaths, but right now we're keeping them fairly simple. Okay, so let's go back to now similar, but with our square breathing. Once again, I'll have you place your hands on your side, and we're going to go into that shape just using our block, inhaling, holding, exhaling, and that pause once again. The pause is at the top of the inhale and the bottom of the exhale are shorter than the whole inhale and exhale, which we're trying to match. Hence the shape of a square in our mind to help us have that image. Go ahead, relax back. Your bottom's at the edge of that blanket. Just that little edge of blanket is back on our lower back. Hands to our side. Let's take 5 rounds. Inhale, pause. Exhale, pause. Inhale, pause. Exhale, pause. Inhale, pause. Exhale, pause. Inhale, pause. Exhale, pause. Let's take another round together. Inhale, pause. Exhale, pause. Let's let that go. Very nice work. It's one of my favorite breathing exercises. And I find, and I think I said this in the last class as well, that my mind is so quiet when I focus on breath techniques. Much more quiet than even sometimes moving through some of the movements in a yoga class. All right, we talked about this just briefly a moment ago. We all are familiar with that whispering quality to our fogging the mirror breath. However, it's a little bit less intuitive to do it on the inhale. But to achieve our pranayama breathing, we're going to learn how to get that whisper quality into our inhale. But it's a sucking in. So I wouldn't say a gasp. I wouldn't want you to do a gasp. I feel like a gasp is tension building, but a very comfortable then. So the whispering quality is all in your throat. It happens whether we breathe in through our nose or through our mouth. So go back perhaps to that mirror. Here's our compact that we make with our cupped hands in front of our mouth. You can just really notice the heat coming into your hands. It's warm, it's moist. We breathe in cool air. We breathe out beautifully warmed air. And then when we breathe in, I don't really notice much different with my cupped hands or not, but I definitely notice whether I'm fully fogging that mirror when I'm breathing into my hands. If you have a very experienced fogging the mirror breath work and you feel like the hands are awkward, you don't want to use them, of course, don't. So let's go back to our pranayama. We're going to do 5 rounds, inhaling, exhaling. The inhales are the whisper. The exhales are the fog. Let's try it. I prefer to have my hands on my hips or the mat just for this part. So inhale, exhale. Second round. Third round. Fourth. Fifth. Let that go. I'm not mic'd, so when I breathe through my nose, I know you're not going to be hearing my breath as well as hearing your own. It's most important to hear your own breath. Okay, let's return to our seated. If you're comfortable sitting on your mat, you can sit back on this pranayama bolster. You can go ahead and sit back on a block. Take a moment to sit in any cross-legged position that's comfortable. If you want to sit in a lotus, you can. If this is not comfortable and you need one or both of your legs out, absolutely. Breathwork needs to be comfortable. It's very difficult to execute breath patterns if you're not. Okay, let's go back into that 3-part exhalation. So we're going to inhale immediately into exhale into 3 parts. Inhale, exhale, pause. Exhale further, pause. Exhale, further, pause. Second round. Inhale, exhale, pause. Exhale, pause. Exhale, pause. Inhale, exhale, pause. Exhale, pause. Exhale, pause. 2 more. Inhale, exhale, pause. Exhale, pause. Exhale, pause. Inhale, exhale, pause. Exhale, pause. Exhale, pause. Let go. Come back to your regular breath. Just feel your breath in your body. You can get some wiggles out. Just feel your body in space. Okay. So, last bit of work today is something that we call grid breathing. Understanding the grid. Some call it grid awareness. So we have 2 lungs. The right lung is a little bit bigger. It has 3 lobes. The left lung has only 2 lobes and they're cushioned around the heart. So in fact, with 3 healthy lobes versus 2 lobes, you can fill the right side a little bit more than the left side, but we have different awareness. We have different breath that goes one direction or another. This is not a quiz. This is not a wrong way or a right way. This is getting in touch with where your breath is going in your body. So, it also has to do with where the bronchus is, because we've got the trachea and then the right main bronchus goes over to the three lobes over there. It's a little bit shorter. Okay, so I want you just to pretend like you have a line down the center of your body. And then just breathe. Take about 15, 20 seconds to just breathe. And let me know, or you make a mental note, since we're not really having a conversation. I think I'm having a conversation with you, but at any rate, make a mental note. Do you notice your breath going more into the right side or the left side? In reality, if we were able to chase you around and really measure where your air's going, it's pretty equal on each side during the day. Okay, now that segmented line, imagine it's gridding now with another segmental line across your chest. So we essentially have 4 quadrants. Take that 15 to 30 seconds just to breathe in. And can you imagine exhale and inhale naturally? And pay attention. Which quadrant has the most air? If your lungs were a set of sponges, which quadrant would be the wettest? Which would take in the most water? Which is sipping in that most air? If you can't figure it out, truly, no quiz. We're just learning a little bit about our body. Okay, where in your body was that darkest quadrant, that driest quadrant, that most empty quadrant of air? Let's call that driest one the darkest. And now imagine that you have a bright flashlight and that you're shining that light into that quadrant. It's just a little extra imagery to help you send your air into where you're generally sending the least amount of air. Once again, take about 15, 20, 30 seconds just to pay attention. Send that light shining in to that darkest place. Okay, once again, let's let that go. We've done some nice work. This was the conclusion of class number 3. I'm just going to give you a couple of minutes to sit quietly with your own breath and thoughts. If your mind tries to wiggle away, just encourage it back. Relax your hands on your knees if that feels comfortable. I'm going to give it a little bit of timing here. Spine is long. Shoulder blades tiny bit engaged but not tense. Chest open. Shoulders relaxed, dripping from your ears. Move into that square breathing if you'd like, or just match inhales with exhales, or be with your natural breath. Whatever helps you in quiet stillness. Smooth quality to inhales and exhales. Equanimous. That very even feeling. calming of your heartbeat, quiet around you, no tasks, being present for yourself. Open your eyes if you close them. Thank you again for participating in our course. We have a place for comments on our YouTube channel. Of course, come to classes if you live anywhere close to Champaign, Illinois. I would love to see you on your mat. Have a good day.